In Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, people always ask what they have here that can make nearly 9 million people huddle on narrow streets after work. If the answer is just for making a living, it might be a little bit unfair for the city, because there are many people who have traveled the world still choose Saigon as home. Only those who have been living here can know the city. In addition to the bustling thoroughfares, there are unique aspects and beauties. This is also the discovery of the Belgian photographer Philip Van. For nearly 2 years living here, he has always loved to carry his camera around for hours on the streets to capture interesting moments of daily life. After collecting every day, he has a huge fortune with unique works about Vietnamese street life to introduce to everyone through the exhibition Saigon Still Stories.
Welcome to the show of Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Net channel. Today, I'm so honored to introduce to you a freelance photographer and the creative director from Belgium, Mr. Philip Van. Thank you for taking your time and joining us today.
Glad to meet you here.
Okay, so my first question is, what brought you to Vietnam and how long have you been here?
Well, I came here in fact just for a week. Coming from China, I came here for a photo job for a week, and that week became 2 weeks, and then other things came up and I stayed for 3 months, 6 months, and finally I'm here since 2 years now.
So it's been 2 years?
Yes.
And what makes you stay here in Vietnam?
Yes, a lot of things. The things I could do here, the photo work I could do, the people, the environment. I quite like it here, yes. It's just, I think I'm not the only one who says that, but there's so many factors together who make that I feel very well at home here.
Okay, so what is the inspiration for you when you have the Saigon Still Story?
Well, Saigon Still Story is the title of my exhibition, and I based it on, there is different series in my exhibition, but one of the stories, the series is really called Still Stories, and I call them stills because literally I take shots in the street that could look like a film shot. Something happened, it's something like dramatic or something, you could think they are maybe like staged, but they are not, they are real shots. And I take that one shot and I treat it as if it were the freeze from a film, and I subtitle that. I have also been a script writer and a writer. And then it's like you come into a room where somebody has paused the television and you see a movie in pause and you don't know the movie. And you just have to imagine.
I can really feel that.
You just have to imagine the story. Who is talking? Is that this person or this character? Or is it somebody thinking? You just see one shot and a title, and all the rest is to the imagination of the viewer. And that's what I do. I give the viewers a one-shot movie, and they have to, they imagine. And the people, they do. Somebody thinks the same movie, the same picture is very funny, and the other guy says, no, it's serious. And somebody says, oh, this could be my grandmother speaking. And everybody invents his own fantasy around that. So that's the main series of the exhibition. There is others also.
So that is also the reason why you want to name it Saigon Still Stories.
Yes, Still Stories is in fact the title of this series. It's something I have been started doing before, also in Europe already. It's my most personal work. But I have other stories about Vietnam. I have also, for instance, discovered how romantic Vietnam and Saigon is on the riverside. Yes. I have a series of pictures where I discovered that also by accident on the riverside at night, especially on the weekend. There are so many riverside, the Saigon River and the smaller rivers, and the people, they walk, they hang around, they kiss a lot. There's a lot of kissing going around there. They look the boats passing by. There's the colors of the reflection in the river from the boats that pass, from the bridges, from the big buildings on the other side, from the landmark building, etc. And it's an incredible mood. And it's like this river here makes the colors and the reflections even more intense. It's a very nice mood. And people from Saigon who live here have told me, oh, we have never seen that. It's a surprise to us.
But
so
you've
which,
seen that?
I've kind of discovered. Sometimes it takes a foreigner, they tell me to see things we don't see, and I'm very pleased that people sometimes see in my pictures things they say, wow, you have a surprising look at Saigon. And that's the greatest compliment I can get, of course.
So it's like a coincidence, and you are someone who discovered new things that people here cannot see?
Coincidence, maybe not. Because sometimes people say, why do you photograph? Well, I do not just photograph to take pictures. The result, of course, is a picture or a series of pictures. But photographing is also a way of being in a place, of absorbing a place, of assimilating with a place. At the end of a long shooting day, I'm not just happy with the 1, 2, 3 pictures that are good. I also feel like I was part of the city, and I remember every step I made.
So I'm so curious about what do you feel when you get deeper to the local people's lives, and when you get deeper, when you discover the new things in the local area of Saigon?
Well, it's always a nice feeling when you feel like I see something here that maybe others have not seen yet, or you feel a connection. You feel, as I just said, you become part of that place, or you get another, you suddenly start to see people differently in a more personal, almost human, direct way. You get another look at the city, and especially at the people and the way they look at you.
Okay, so I've seen that every of your picture has a title and a caption for that. So do you have any reason behind of it, and any sharing about it?
Well, that is this series, the Still Stories, which I treat like film stories. So this subtitle is really a character talking or thinking like it would be in a film. And that is something that really gets very nice attention in my exhibition. Vietnamese people, they all read it in their way. It's really like, hey, and where do you get it from? Yeah. Did you steal it from a film? No, I don't steal it from a film. I write it myself. Sometimes I have one picture that I think is okay, and then I start writing maybe 20, 30 lines that work, and suddenly I think, this works. This is surprising, or it's exciting, it gives an extra attention to the image, and then I put it there, and then it suddenly becomes something different.
As a street photographer, Philip Van has always kept his eyes and heart open to welcome new things. With Saigon Still Stories, not only does Philip sense life from a photographic point of view, but he also brings scripts into each photo, as if it is a slice from some movie. There is a story that is sent to make viewers curious, ponder, and help them create their own movie script based on Saigon background.
Cái mình thích ở cái triển lãm Saigon Still Stories của Philip là mặc dù Philip là người nước ngoài, không phải là người địa phương ở Sài Gòn hoặc là Việt Nam, nhưng mà Philip có những tấm ảnh mà nó có một cái góc nhìn nó rất là khác và rất là địa phương đối với cả mình, mặc dù mình từng sinh ra và lớn lên ở Sài Gòn, nên mình nhìn được cái nét mới ở Sài Gòn của những tấm ảnh ở Philip. Thì đó là mình nghĩ là cái điều mà mình thích nhất ở cái triển lãm này. Cái việc mà người nước ngoài tới một cái đất nước nào đó xong rồi gọi là sao ta, chụp lại những cái khoảnh khắc mà người địa phương nghĩ là ồ cái đó bình thường quá, mình không để ý á, thì mình nghĩ là cái việc đó nó xảy ra chắc là ở mọi quốc gia luôn, và mình nghĩ đó là một cái nét rất là hay, không phải ở mỗi Việt Nam mà ở tất cả mọi nơi trên thế giới. Tức là đôi khi mà mình sinh ra và lớn lên ở một nơi á, thì mình sẽ bỏ qua một cái vài nét đẹp mà mình thấy hàng ngày luôn, ví dụ như đi ra đường ăn cơm tấm hoặc là một cái con hẻm nào đó nhìn nó đẹp đẹp nhưng mà mình sống ở đó. Nhưng mà người nước ngoài người ta sẽ thấy những cái đó mới nên người ta sẽ thấy đẹp. Thì cái sự giao thoa văn hóa đó của một người nước ngoài tới một cái đất nước mới và đưa ra một cái nhìn mới cho những người địa phương ở đó thì theo mình là một cái điều rất là hay, không chỉ ở Việt Nam mà còn ở tất cả mọi nơi trên thế giới.
So, can you share with us about the things that you think are the most special from your picture?
Well, from these subtitled Still Stories, I have typical scenes of for instance, one picture I like very much is we have all those restaurants in the streets, all the plastic chairs. I could make a series of pictures I could make a whole exhibition about Vietnam and plastic chairs, but that's another story. But I have one of these almost dramatically staged pictures of all green chairs just before opening hour. And it's all clean, and there's a guy just cleaning the last table, and there's all empty, and it's all right, all those green chairs and the fantastic light, 5 p.m. And within 1 hour it's gonna fill up, and 2 hours later it's gonna be full of people, full of a mess. And then I put this subtitle about yesterday's love stories, like every night, every evening, yesterday and tonight and tomorrow, that's a place of stories and love stories, this big restaurant. For instance, I have other pictures like that where I just walk into the street and I see the people standing, sitting. As I told you, one of my favorite pictures of the riverside by night is where the people sitting there really along the water in that fantastic red light, and the tree is red and the light is red, and there's a big red signboard, and there's a couple, and the woman is in red, and they kiss and they look over the water. It's one of my iconic images of that series. And then I have the picture we could see is of the children in the streets I take in the magic hour, like between 7-8 p.m. and 9-10 p.m. They have eaten, the parents are there sitting, relaxing, and the children are parent-free at that moment. It's the hours before they have to go to sleep, and they roam in those small alleys and streets, and they feel so free, and they are full of imagination, and they play and they sing and they fight, and they can be brutal but very tender also. And that's when the parents, they are sitting there. Dinner, karaoke, few beers, and that's also a series I like very much. And then there's another last series we can see a few pictures of now is a complete different thing. I'm a people and street photographer, but in April during the lockdown, I was in my apartment in Koh Giang, and I could hardly get out. Everything was closed, the coffee shops are closed, there's nothing in the street. So I started shooting things around me in my apartment, objects, small things. And it became like a complete different series. As you see, it's like abstract paintings of small details, very colorful.
Okay, so do you think that wandering alone in a strange place with a with a camera in your hand, is it like very unsafety for you, for a foreigner like you?
Few people asked me that before. I never felt unsafe, no place in Saigon, and I've been around far from the center in all corners out, far from on the edge of the city.
So do you have any difficulties or problems while you're doing that?
No. People are very friendly. The only problem, which is not a problem, I can make a million pictures of people smiling and doing this in front of the camera. But of course, that's not very exciting for me.
That's not exciting at all.
They all want to be in the picture, but I prefer, of course, to shoot when they don't see me, and I can do, of course. But I mean, they are absolutely not negative not negative towards being photographed. It's not that they say hey, or they.
At least they are not negative.
No, on the contrary, they are almost too positive. When they all come in front of my lens and do this, I always have the same picture, so that's not so interesting. But that's the positive, that's a positive problem.
A positive problem.
Yes.
I wish you luck and success in the future, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
So thank you for watching, and see you next time.